what is the most common problem that people talk about with their shrink? Relationship issues, past trauma, financial problems, loneliness. Those are all real and important issues. But in my experience, both as a therapist and as a coach, there is one problem that nearly every one of my clients has struggled with: feeling overwhelmed, inadequate, and exhausted most of the time. Here's a typical example. Jenny was a young mother with 3 little boys and a successful entrepreneur running her own business. But her house, it was a mess. She was worried about what people would think and embarrassed to have them come over. But somehow, she just couldn't find the energy to keep her house in order, and it made her feel lousy. Jenny is just one of many examples. It doesn't seem to matter if I'm talking with a global CEO or a stay-at-home mom. The problem of feeling overwhelmed and inadequate almost always comes up, which is weird, because we all know there's a simple answer to this problem: work-life balance. Just get the balance right, and your life will be smooth and easy. Yeah, right. Let me show you what balance looks like. All right, got a busy day. Got to pay some bills, so I'm going to bring along this mail. Oh, and I'm going to my night course this evening, so got to have my textbooks. All right, and of course, I need my bag for work. And I'd like to get to the fitness club today, so I'm going to bring along my gym bag. Oh, I've got some company coming, so I need to get the house cleaned. And of course, I got to get the dinner started, so let's get the soup onto the stove. All right, I'm good. I think I got everything. Wait a minute, though. It feels like I'm missing something. What is it? Oh, my gosh. It's the baby. That is what balance looks like. I've never met anyone who has a balanced life. Some people look as if they do, but it's an illusion. And it's just another way for us to feel inadequate. That's the bad news. The good news is there's a better way. It's not easy, but it works. I call it curating your life. Think about how a museum curator puts together an exhibit. First, she has to get very clear about what is the theme of the exhibit. And then she has to make 3 difficult choices. 1, what items don't go into the exhibit? They just don't fit. 2, what items go into one of the side rooms? They're necessary, but not important. And 3, what are the 1 or 2 main items that will hang in the Great Hall? Follow those steps, and the curator will create a beautiful and meaningful exhibit. You can curate your life by making those same choices. First, get clear on what is the theme of your exhibit. What really matters to you? What do you love? I'm going to tell you some stories about some of my clients, so I've changed their names to protect their confidentiality. Anne figured out that her 4 main values were beauty, success, holiness, and joy. Anne was someone who beautified everything around her. She was ambitious, and she wanted to be respected and well compensated. Anne was religious, and she tried hard to live up to the expectations of her tradition. And Anne believed that God wants us to be joyful and to savor the delights of this world. For Anne to feel fulfilled, her exhibit has to focus on those 4 themes. Figuring out the themes of your exhibit is tricky, and the next step is trickier. You have to focus your energy on those themes. You know, we like to believe that our energy is infinite, but we're kidding ourselves. Even if you eat right and drink lots of water and exercise regularly and meditate and do all of those good things, your energy will still be finite. You can't do it all. It won't fit into your exhibit. Overworking yourself is a very real problem. Ronald Burke, a professor of business at York University, has cataloged the disastrous consequences of working beyond your endurance. Physical health problems, mental health issues, family dysfunction, chronic guilt, reduced productivity, and increased accidents. In his article, Working to Live or Living to Work, Burke introduced the Japanese word karoshi. It means death from overwork. Researchers have calculated how many work hours it takes to cause such a death. Contrary to the old saying, hard work really has killed a lot of people. So if you want to lead a long and fulfilling life, you have to eliminate the activities that don't belong in your exhibit. That's hard, because it sometimes means you have to disappoint people. But you'll never get your exhibit in order if you don't learn how to say no. When my first child was born, the activities that I eliminated from my life exhibit included going to professional conferences, reading all the latest books and journal articles in my field, serving on a community board, hosting large parties, sending holiday cards, doing our laundry, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was hard letting go of all that stuff, and not everybody was thrilled with my choices, but it was essential. I hate to tell you, the next step is even more difficult. Remember those items that go into the side rooms of your exhibit? In your life exhibit, those are all the things you have to do, but you don't have to be great at them. You just have to be good enough. Wait. I have to settle for good enough? I have to be, I can't even bear to say it, mediocre? Yep. Look, the truth is we're already mediocre with a lot of the stuff we do anyway. We just waste our energy feeling guilty about it. Instead, let's make conscious choices about where we are going to be C players. My client Rachel is a good example. Rachel is a senior executive in a global communications agency. If you emailed Rachel about anything, you could be sure to get a response within 5 minutes. It was great. But Rachel's indiscriminate rule that she must always respond immediately was making her a less effective leader. She would sit in meetings answering email instead of paying attention. And she was teaching her team members that they could always expect her to be at their beck and call, even about trivial matters. After Rachel and I had worked on curating her life, I noticed that sometimes when I emailed her, I had to wait for a response. Sometimes I even had to ping her a second time. And you know, that was good enough. Here's the good news. If you eliminate the activities that don't belong in your exhibit, and you settle for good enough in the activities that are necessary but not important, you will have the energy for your unique greatness. Going for your greatness is also hard work. but it's deeply satisfying and it makes your life exhibit beautiful. One of my favorite examples of greatness is the story of the Watts Towers. Located in a tough neighborhood in Los Angeles, the towers are a collection of fantastic metal structures completely covered with the wildest mosaics. They look out of place and otherworldly. What the heck is going on here? The Watts Towers are the largest work of art on the planet that was created by one person alone. That person was Simon Rodia, an illiterate construction worker. In 1921, Rodia decided he wanted to do something big. He purchased a small plot of land near the train station so people could see his work. And for the next 33 years, Rodia spent every moment of his free time building the towers. Let's face it, it's pretty weird to spend 33 years building something bizarre and useless. And yet, what a magnificent achievement. Rodia wanted to do something big, and by golly, he did it. The towers are breathtakingly beautiful, and many people find them spiritually inspiring. The Watts Towers show us what passion and thinking big and persistence and, yes, obsession can accomplish. How many of us long for some of that passion in our lives, to leave a unique and beautiful legacy? Maybe we need to spend a little more time discovering our inner Simon Rodia. So that's it. You have my best thoughts about how to curate your life. Figure out the theme of your life exhibit. Eliminate the activities that don't belong in that exhibit. Settle for good enough in the activities that are necessary but not important. And then focus all that unleashed energy on your unique greatness. It's your life. The only one you get as far as we know. So take charge and be your own curator. By the way, remember that young mother with the 3 little boys and the messy house, the one I talked about at the beginning of my talk? Things worked out pretty well for her. That was me.